arm, I'll step back. The reason I do this, the reason I fan the piece out in front of me, if I don't do this, think about how close we are to one another. Right, okay, I could possibly prime and load this weapon like this, but the assumption is firing in that direction. Okay, if I want to fire directly in front of me, I'm going to point the weapon in that direction. Alright, okay, so what I'm going to do here is simply open the jaws of my weapon open one time till it clicks, or just pop open my priming pan there. This is also called the half-cock position because you can't do anything if you go running off half-cock. Okay, yes, weapons in the 18th century had a safety mechanism on them. Okay, there's a reason for that. There's live gunpowder going right about here. I'm a big fan of having eyebrows, so, you know. Okay, from here I'm going to handle cartridge all the way to my shot box. From here I'm going to simply open that up with my teeth. If you ever wonder what gunpowder tastes like, it's not good. Okay, from here I'm going to simply prime the weapon, so that looks to be sufficient. And then from here I'm simply going to pinch this off with my finger, shut pan. Immediately cast the piece about at my hip and charge cartridge all the way the rest down the barrel, dumping the powder out of it first, followed by the empty paper tube. Now I should mention, this would not be an empty paper tube in the 18th century, would it? That 69 caliber lead ball I told you about is going to be tied right at the bottom of that. So from here I'm going to drop that ball right down behind my powder. Then what I'm going to do is, well, draw a rammer, advance it down the muzzle till I hear ram down cartridge, and then simply from here I'm going to return rammer all the way back down behind the barrel where it came from, making sure I actually am keeping my hand clear from that muzzle. Now, a question I always get while doing this, am I worried about that? Okay, in the 21st century, absolutely not, because there isn't even a good point on that. Okay, but in the time period, that's all there would be, a good point. This is not a cutting tool, this is a puncturing tool. So yeah, every now and again, I'll maybe put my hand on that end, but not worried about the edge here. There wouldn't be no cutting edge here. So from here, I'm simply going to fix my feet forward so I can shoot in that direction, bring the piece all the way up to my shoulder, and this would be the signal to my commanding officer that I'm actually ready to fire this thing. Think about how loud it's going to be on an 18th century battlefield. You can't hear anybody's voice, so instead, your commanding officer is looking for your musket to drop down below the ground and then back up. Once they do that, he knows you're all ready. So from here, want to cover up your ears, go ahead and do so. Make ready. Take aim. Play. Now, I would not go through that long, arduous process if I was actually on an active battlefield, because by now it's assumed that I know how to do this. And if I do know how to do this, it's one command and one command only. Once I break this position, it's simply going to be prime and load. Now, take everything I'm doing with a grain of salt, because I'm able to meet this 15 to 20 second mark almost every time nowadays, because, well, there is something that Continental soldiers are dealing with that I'm not at all. Something real soldiers are dealing with that I'm not dealing with at all, and that is actually being shot at. Make ready. Take aim. Fire. And then from here, I would simply bring it back to the half-cock fire lock position. I would do that all over again until my commanding officer tells me otherwise.